If you happen to be a person that's experienced a catalytic heart awakening or have considered yourself to be on the twin flame journey between the years of, say, 2009 through 2014 or maybe 17, this possibly could be a reading that you're interested in. This reading is for those twin flames that believe that they are not going to end up with the person that they thought they were going to end up with originally. If you're new here, my name is Debbie Dubois. I am an empowerment guide, a life coach, and a healing facilitator. And I work very closely with people in relationships like the twin flame path and others, and I felt really called to do this particular video because of the fact that a lot of people are feeling the draw towards relationship again. They're feeling someone new coming in. They're feeling the return of their original person. But this particular video is going to be for those people who feel that their original person is not necessarily the person that they're going to end up with in this lifetime. And that could be for a couple reasons. Number one, that original catalyst might have been someone who came in to help them take on patterns of distortion that needed to be cleared within them for the collective in their family line. Or, and a lot of people would call that a false twin flame. I don't tend to think of it as being a false twin flame, but rather a catalyst to move you through where you need to go to get to that actual counterpart. Or maybe this is your original counterpart that you are eventually going to reconnect with during what we think of as ascension or integration periods. But that is not maybe the person that you are supposed to be in your next relationship with. So, what we're going to do is I wanted to pull cards to find out what is coming in for these particular group of twin flames or the catalytic heart awakening journey. What was really interesting is I ended up having to pull from two different decks. I've got the Intuit Oracle and I also have the Intuit Tarot. The first half of the reading, I pulled all the cards ahead of time and I wasn't getting like the information about who's coming in. I was getting other information from the deck for the twin flames that I'm speaking to. So I want to go ahead and get started. And we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to set aside the Intuit Tarot for now. And we're going to take a look at what cards came up from the Intuit Oracle for the twin flame collective that I'm speaking to right now. All right. So the first thing that came up was the bellows. Okay, so the bellows, the word that jumped off the card for me is effort required, because I was asking what is coming in for those of us who have decided, hey, I'm not going to be with that original person. What is this about? So the bellows is also about a catalyst. So something has to be catalyzed. And I'm almost thinking, oh my gosh, another catalytic heart awakening possibly. Something's got to get things going. There's some effort required here. Something needs to be done to spark, to kindle the situation. So that could possibly be that you've experienced something where someone new comes in and you think, oh, now that feels familiar. I haven't felt that feeling for a long time. Or you might be feeling that feeling of, I feel that person coming in. I feel something like I've experienced before, but there's been nobody surfacing and you're wondering what's going on. Is it the original person? Is it a new person? So regardless of what that is, this is going to require some effort on your part. So I was like, okay, well, tell me more about this effort. And I got the broom. The broom talks about removing unwanted stuff, purging, a clean sweep, a total makeover, even a delete, and that it's unavoidable. So I'm thinking, okay, there's effort required. Please don't tell me that we all have to start doing more work, because I was just like, all right, what kind of work do we need to be doing? And I got the house. All right, so the house is about boundaries, shelter, safety, comfort. I started thinking about for those of us who've been so deeply into this path that we feel that we've catapulted into a new space, that in a way we have come to this new space of harmony within ourselves, at home within ourselves. We have built our own boundaries, our own structures that support us and our family, and have brought us a bunch of comfort. And it's a place that we feel like we belong. All right. So so I'm thinking, okay, in terms of, it's right next to the broom. And I always take cards that are next to each other and I kind of read them together because they're indications of, how to read the cards. And what I wanted to say was, what really stood out to me, and of course, I'm tapping into what I feel is a collective energy from um, those twin flame and counterparts that I'm working with, is there seems to be some boundaries that are in place that need to be removed, purged, or reconsidered. And it was as if I was getting the confirmation about this, because what I was getting, and I want to make sure my microphone's on. Yes, it is. Thank goodness. Like, no, I've had so much technical difficulties. I got the yes, spring into action. This is the spring new moon, and it's about setting goals, setting intentions, coming alive, new beginnings, rejuvenating. So it seems to me that as part of, like, say, removing some of these boundaries, it's like time for a fresh start. So I was like, well, this sounds really good, because it sounds to me like we're getting rid of some of the things that have stopped us maybe from moving into a new connection, new beginnings, exciting, excitement. um and this is fresh, this is new stuff, so a new cycle. I loved that word. So from there, the cards even came along the lines of the bridge, which is about communication, it's about collaboration, it's overcoming barriers. So there seems to be a little bit of purging and cleanup that still needs to be done when we look at effort required, and then we're looking at the broom, which is purging and stuff. So we're going to be overcoming some barriers, and this could be barriers to communication. It could be blocks that we have that keep us from, maybe sharing. Well, what comes up next is our heart. So are we able to share our heart? Do we need to overcome some barriers in order to share, ourselves and our hearts? That's what I was picking up on. I was picking up on a little bit of stuck energy. Like, it's really hard to take a chance again. It's really hard to make new connections, because you're like, I've been down this road before and now I feel really good in my own skin. So what does this mean to explore new connection? And it's so funny, because the next card that comes up is the woman, or the divine feminine. So the divine feminine, she wants to share her heart again. She wants to. There's an element in here, though, that jumped off of the card at me, and that is about forgiveness. Do we need to forgive? Are there some things that are inside of our hearts that have to be really examined? You know, that's this whole broom. The broom came up so fast in the reading, and it's speaking to the collective that I've been dealing with, even including myself. That broom is very significant in this reading. And but we are moving towards the heart, and we are moving towards the heart within the divine feminine. So this is in this reading, I feel very, very specific that this is the person that's watching the reading. Doesn't necessarily mean you are feminine or that you're a woman, but that the feminine energy in this reading is what is being addressed. And the next card I got is about the anchor. And it again talks about this enduring, solid, steady energy that I feel so many of the people that have been on this path have been able to achieve. It's a solid, secure space. So you're actually emanating off a lot of incredibly powerful energy. Um, and what the willpower and the fortitude on this card says to me is this is a really good foundation for new beginnings, which is what I got in the rabbits. The rabbits is about new beginnings and desire. And so I feel that coming from this place of strength where the woman is really reconnecting with her heart and really becoming a lot more stable, she is setting the stage for these new beginnings, which includes a lot of fertile energy. It includes um, sex and procreation, a sudden increase in desire. And that is what I've been getting from a lot of the collective in how they're feeling, especially ones that aren't connected with their former counterpart twin flame. It's this excitement to start something new. And then I got the church. And the church, I looked at this for a long time. And what really, really stood out to me about the church is belief system. And I thought, wow, for those of us who've been on this catalytic heart awakening journey for years, we have such a belief system ingrained in us that we don't even realize. It is almost, I hate to say it, it's almost a religion. We have the concepts of runner chaser and the divine feminine and masculine, and the divine feminine doing their work and the masculine avoiding their work, and all of these, and the bubble phase, and all of these things that so many people learned on this. And I thought, wow, we still have some programming going on here. So, I continued to pull cards, and I got the Wolverine. The Wolverine is about a big, fierce energy, but there's power struggles. And I want to say power struggles almost within self. Like, I want to be strong and I want to be in my own power, but I also want to have a connection. I'd like a partner. Um, I feel very possessive of my own space. I feel very assertive. I'm determined. I even may appear a little bit elusive to someone who may be looking at me as a prospect. I'm elusive because I'm in this really fiercely protected energy of the Wolverine. And so it was so funny because the next card I got was the Man. So I was like, okay, is this have to do with a new one coming in, or does this have to do with the old one exiting, like from our own system, from our own programming, from our own way of looking at it? And I wasn't sure, so I'm going to keep going. I got the rings. The rings can be, and this is interesting, the rings can be about future promises, but it can also be about closure. So I'm thinking, okay, that still doesn't answer the question for me. So I'm sitting here saying, is this the new person coming in, or is this the old person going out? And what my inner being told me was basically just keep going, keep looking at these cards, and you're going to get the clear picture of what all of this means. But the ring is about partnership, it's about trust, it's about agreements, a cycle, a commit, a promise, a bond. And I started to wonder, okay, now this is curious because it's right next to the masculine. And if you don't know what that masculine, if it's a new person or an old person, this is where I started going, oh, is that old person showing up again? So is there closure? Is that what some of this broom is about? Is this what some of the effort required is about? So again, I pressed on in this reading and I got the stork. And it did not help me. It did not help me at all, because basically what this is about is this is transformation and change. So transformation and change could be, an existing connection transforming and changing and moving into something better. This is also about arrival and departure. So it's like, okay, is a new person coming in? Is the old person going out? It was really fascinating to see some of these cards. And but there's the word on here, change, move, but there's also the card renovate. So does that mean there's change coming for an existing connection? And I want to say this at this point, that is possible, because some of you who may think that your person is not your person anymore may wildly find out later that that person still is your person, but you're not going to get to that person until you go through a next phase. But then there are others of you that really did have a false start, or I don't even want to say a false start, because it was an intentional start at the soul level to get you to where you're going. So at this point, I'm like, in the reading, I'm like, well, I don't know what's happening. So we're just going to keep pressing on, shall we? Then I got the waterfall. And the thing that impressed me most on the waterfall is chasing after something and releasing. So, but there's other stuff on this card. There's emotional release. Does the emotional release go along with the broom? Do we need to release something emotionally that we're still hanging on to in order to make room for something new? Possibly. This speaks about abundance, fulfillment. Does that mean this is a signal that some new fulfillment is coming in, or maybe some rekindled fulfillment? I'm trying to think if this is rekindled. The bellows could be rekindling. So, it's still at this point, I'm saying I have no idea. We chased after something for so long, this ideal, this, I want to say the societal programming, the programming of the twin flame community. We pursued after that so long, it got ingrained in our skin. And then we did all of these things to become the strong woman in her power and stable and ready for new beginnings. And it was like, for a lot of people. Now, there are some people I know that actually found someone new, and they're already on their happy way to an incredible life with the person. So it's not every case, but a lot of them, a lot of people it is. All right, so then I started to get some answers. This is the yarn, and the yarn is about being strung along, all tied up, a conundrum, tangled, puzzling. And I said, well, yeah, that kind of describes me in this reading right now, doesn't it? Because I'm like, okay, so something is coming up that is complicated. So even if it's looking at a new person or not, that really is not the main point of this. And I want to I gotta keep make sure my recording is going, because it's Mercury retro and I've got the green light. So we've got this yarn, and I'm thinking, okay, what is this yarn? In just a second, I'm gonna move my cards. All right, and then I hate to say this, but I got the coffin, and I'm like, oh my God, what's the coffin doing in here? And I thought, this really confuses me now. So, I really reached in here, and I'm thinking even more now than I was before. We've got some complications that need to be put to rest. And I don't believe this has to do with whether this person coming in is a new person or whether it's the old person. I think what it has to do with is that there's something in us that needs to be cleared. And, I can say that for my own circumstances, I feel that, because as I feel new energies, I started to realize, oh my God, I don't even know who I am anymore and how to be in a connected relationship. I don't even know how to express that anymore. I've become so independent in my power. How does one even come out of your power to open up your heart and trust another person? It's like I feel like a 14-year-old. It's really strange. But anyways, yeah, so something has to end in order for us to move forward. Something needs to become inactive. Something needs to be over and done. We need to break up with something within inside of ourselves in order to get that new start that we want, or even a rekindled, if that's what you're looking for. Then I got one card that just keeps coming up for me over and over and over again, and that's the bear. And this is about becoming your own boss, your CEO boss. It's like this is still, it doesn't matter what's over and done. Whatever the over and done is for you, this is who you are. You are that mama bear or papa bear. I'm just saying. And this is the protective energy. This is the energy that has learned how to take care of yourself. It brings you everything you need, from your strength to your finances, to protecting yourself, to coaching yourself into new levels of consciousness. That bear is so significant in this reading, and it's what brings you happiness. It's right next to the bouquet, which is all about harmony, beauty, creativity, your expression, your happiness. There is one word on that card I'm just going to say: reconciliation. So if this person is your person, it's still the key, and it's still the path. This card is still applicable whether or not this is a new person coming in or whether it's the old person. And I am just going to say it. Nobody's going to know until the end of the game. And it's like the music stops and everyone ends up face to face with that counterpart. No one's going to know. But that could be after this lifetime. It could be after a shift in consciousness. And at that point, who's going to care? You're with the person. But in the meantime, you want to live a healthy and fulfilled life with a great partner who loves you and understands you. And you're not going to settle for less. Boom. That's the bear, right? You're with me, right? Okay. So we're heading towards the bouquet. And how does that happen? We've got the mortar and the pestle. The mortar and the pestle is about making something new. It's alchemy. So again, it's like whether someone new is coming in or whether someone old is returning, something has to be made new. You cannot keep things the way they were. So we're talking about alchemy, breaking things down to make something new. And here we follow it up with Pluto. And this is about the great revealer, judgment, total transformation. Total transformation. So regardless of it's a new person, so you can see why I'm kind of in this point in the reading, as I'm pulling cards, I'm like, okay, this is not helpful. I want to know who's coming in. I want to know, and there's no answer to that at this point, but there is an answer. Total transformation has to happen. And if we think we've totally transformed, we are sorely mistaken, my friends. I'm just saying. It's not, we are not at that space yet. Maybe you are, but I've been working on this for 14, 15 years, and I'm still finding out that I'm like a 14-year-old when it comes to a few things. So there's something standing in the way. And if it's standing in the way for me, I can almost bet it's standing in the way for you. Because I'm just going to say it. I'm a master at this path. I am. And I'll claim that right now. And as if to say, yes, I am. It's the sun. Okay. So the confirmation at this point was like, I'm like, okay, I said, okay, total transformation needs to happen before we get that person, whether it's the old person or a new person. And I got the sun card. That's where it came in. So it actually played two parts in this little movie. This sun energy is all about success in a relationship. It's all about the divine masculine and being in happy union with that energy. It's about climax. It's about power. It's radiant daytime warm energy. And who does not want that? Even though I'm in Georgia and that's really hot right now. I would like a little, well, I'm in air conditioning, so that works. But we also got the ladybug, which is the vibrant life. So that the total transformation really does lead to the abundant life that we're looking for. This is all of our wishes coming true. And that is because of this judgment, this total transformation card. And then I got the snowflake. Okay, I got the snowflake. And what the snowflake said to me is, this is very perfectly designed. We need to handle this situation very carefully. This is a fragile situation in that if we don't address it and we don't look at it carefully, it can mean that we don't as quickly get to where we need to go. All right. Um, then I got the ship, which is about going places. So as long as we handle this situation very carefully and do the effort required to remove whatever it is that might be blocking us, then we end up with the ship. Well, I don't know if I said that right. We want to make sure that we do all of our work in order for us to get the ship. And the ship is about going places. It's going like adventures. It's movement. It could be a trip. It could be a visit to go see someone. It could be that special someone you're going to see. But regardless, it's so important to know that we have to handle this whole situation with care and give it the attention it deserves so that we can get the ship, which we've got. And we also got the head of the pack, which is another success card. The other success card is you get it done, you finish first, it's successful. This is your successful outcome that you are motivated to find. So that's on its way in perfect timing, says the clock. The clock also talks about this whatever is coming for you is going to stand the test of time. It's going to bring together your past, the present, and the future into, I want to say, one amalgamated timeline where you have everything that you've ever wanted and desired. Now it's interesting because at this point I got the island and I was like, okay, well, where does the island come in? Because we're looking for union. And you know what comes up here for me on this card is independent and protected. It's I don't want to say isolation, but I want to say that it's like your center is going to be, you will run solo. You have the capacity within a connection to run solo, to have that protection and your independence without blocking your heart. You can continue on, and we get the element of water, which is this is um, being fluid, being fluid, being in your intuition. It's that you're sensitive, you're in a healing capacity, you're as intuitive, but you're also romantic. You're a bit fantasy and enchanting, and it makes me think of the right side of the brain, while we have, I almost want to say, the snowflake as the left side of the brain, which is more, it just feels to me like there's a really good balance between precise and perfect and handling things carefully and being very fragile with things and being able to be fluid. This is like you mastering. Um, and I guess that where this comes in is that regardless of what a relationship you're in, the importance of being able to stand in your own energy, regardless of who you end up with. This is where you end up. It's the fall full moon. And that is about accomplishment, and it's about completion of cycles. It's about the culmination of your effort. It's your harvest. It's focusing on your needs. And more importantly, yes, the time has come. So you can see at this point, I'm like, okay, this is amazing. This really is confirming a lot of what I was getting. I'm going to go ahead and say I did not stop there. I said, I want to know though, what is the potentials for someone coming in? Like, what does that look like? What does that person, I guess you could say, what does that person, whether it's the original person or a new person, look like? And I got a message from my inner being to grab another deck. It's like we're going into a completely different energy in what might be coming. So I said, all right. So I am not a huge tarot reader, but the really good thing about the Intuit Oracle is we have one version, and my kitty wants to return. No, kitty, because he's going to want to come up here and knock my cards all over the place, which I don't want him to do. Um, But this particular deck has keywords on it. And Kimberly, my business partner, is so amazing at having learned tarot and picked such amazing keywords for this card, for these cards. We have a version of the Intuit Tarot that has keywords. And so I was like, I'm going to do the tarot. And when I listen, I shuffled this deck and I read reversals because our cards, you can read reversals. They're read upright and in reverse positions. And it actually has like a title, a subtitle kind of card name that kind of gives you a feel for the energy of whether in the upright or reverse positions. I started going crazy over the cards that were coming up because I shuffled them, I upright turned them, shuffled and shuffled and shuffled. And I want to show you what cards came out. The first card that came out, and this is in question two, what is this relationship going to look like? Who is this person coming in and what is it going to look like? And I got the Knight of Wands. I'm just going to let you see that card for a minute there. You can read some of the words on it. All right. What I'm picking up on this is a over the top, flirty, charming, exciting. It's a flirting relationship. It's being swept off your feet. I like that. That was like, okay, that's a really good place to start. And then I got the King of Cups energy. And so the King of Cups, and this is in the upright, most of the cards came in the upright position. And even if they're reversed, they're like still good cards. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I wanted to say that this is about emotional mastery. And so what I was getting is really you're bringing the King of Cups to the table, and the King of Cups is going to be reflected back to you in that you're going to become emotionally balanced with a relationship that gives you the things that you bring to the table, like heart-centeredness, kind-heartedness, intuitiveness, self-awareness. This is going to be reflected to you in this new connection. There's going to be a psychic connection. There's going to be feelings that pass between you. And I want to say that some of you may already have met someone that you are feeling this way about. And it might be a really unusual situation where you're like, no, that can't possibly be. But and then there are others of you who are feeling the energy of a person coming, and some of you may be reconnecting with your old, your old counterpart connection from the twin flame days, and you might be having some of this energy start showing up in your relationship with them. And I love this. We got the Ace of Cups. Now, Ace of Cups speaks to new romance, bliss, romantic success. This is it. This is joy. And it's interesting. One of the astrologers that I listen to a lot is Christopher Witecki. And he swore up and down that this was going to be the summer of love, that we really had things coming where you're going to need partnership, and that the loving partnership that you've been waiting for, the Ace of Cups, this is it energy, showed up as the third card in my reading. And guess what the fourth one was? The Lovers. I'm like, are you kidding? And it's even in the upright position. So this is about union. It's about connections, relationships, romance, harmony, love, choices. Wow. So I was like, oh, that's really exciting. And then if that couldn't be any better, the world. So I want to say it's the end of a chapter, but the end of the chapter to me is you're being alone if you don't want to be alone. That is an individual soul level choice. I think that, I mean, unless at the soul level, your soul has already decided if you're going to be alone or not, or if you want, something in your life and it's time. We've got to always take into account the soul timing of things. But I think that this is going to be the end of that lonely chapter for a lot of people. This is going to be integration and wholeness, fulfillment, a sense of belonging with someone, achievement, success. This is the accomplishment of all the things that you were trying to achieve on that journey that you somehow found yourself thrown into. It's like, why me? Can we just say it didn't happen? It was a wild ride, right? For a lot of you, you understand what I'm saying. Okay, then this is great, the Three of Coins. So I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, how can these cards come up with such strength? And it's collaboration, it's active listening, it's co-managing, it's teams, it's synergy, and it's doing it together. So it does sound to me like someone is coming in. Maybe it's that Page of Cups. You're waiting for that romantic gesture. You're waiting for those messages of romance and beauty and spirituality and music and love. And I'm like, oh, yeah, sign me up. I'm right there with you. A love offer. A love offer. Ace of Cups. Love offer. Bring it. Bring it on. That's what I say. And we got the storybook ending with a 10 of Cups. Are you kidding? This is crazy. So I'm like, wow, this is it. This is finding your other person. This is the one that you're slated to spend maybe the rest of this life with, even if it's not that counterpart that at the end of the day, bing, once there's a exit out of this upside down crazy realm into a more of a heavenly realm, and that may be where you end up with that original or true counterpart. But regardless, if it's in this lifetime, you're getting your storybook ending. And I do believe that. I believe we came in, and at this point in time, if you've done your work, you're writing the storybook ending. You're writing what you want to happen. Guess what? It's saying it's coming, man. It's coming. Now, at this point, I got the 5 of coins. There's a couple of things that show up for me on this card right now. It's not anything that occurred to me when I first saw it, but I want to say that there may be people that feel left out in the cold now because you've moved on. You've moved on from that space of being your own independent. I'm gonna be my own boss. I'm not gonna give my heart to another person, and those men and all that stuff. There's gonna be some people in your life, maybe even that person that you were originally connected with, that might feel a little bit left out in the cold, alienated. They might be going through some harsh conditions. You might have a revisiting of that energy. I mean, it looks like that energy is in the first half of this reading, right? Then I get the Queen of Cups. And I want to say that's your energy. That is, if you've been doing your spiritual work, you've got the Queen of Cups energy, emotionally connected, because you've done your work and you did the broom and you found out what was the last holdout, what makes you act like a 14-year-old when confronted with someone you like. Okay, I'm just saying that right there, you've already dissolved this, and now this person can come in, and you've got the loving feelings, you've got the open-heartedness, you've got deep feelings, you're empathic, you're connected, you're in the flow. I absolutely love that. What it's going to take is the 8 of Swords in reverse. Okay, and this is part of that cleanup process, the purging, and that is releasing your limiting beliefs. And that goes right to, I'm sitting here, I can't find all those cards, but I can tell you which one that refers to. Is the limiting beliefs came from that twin flame community, that doctrine, and that would be the church that I was showing earlier. Now it's time to take back your power. This is you saying, and it says take back your power on the card. I'm not kidding you. It's up to you. You need to set yourself free because you've got this coming and you want this. You don't want, where is it? You don't want this. You don't want this. I'm just saying. Maybe you do, but I don't. So there. 8 of Swords, conquering self-doubt. Maybe I'm acting like a 14-year-old because I've got to conquer that self-doubt. We won't go into my issues. It's so much fun though. I love talking about this stuff. All right, so we got the 4 of Coins in reverse. I love it. The cards that came in reverse are actually not even negative cards. They're actually really good. This is about less is more. This is about making things more simple, letting go of things that make things complicated. Less is more. And this is about uncluttering your life to make room for the stuff that's important. This is what's important. Your storybook ending. So it's saying the Four of Coins energy, and those coins are pentacles in our deck, or I should say, pentacles are coins in our deck. It's time to release. I want to say the materialism in this case is the dogma around what you always believed. And then we have the Ten of Swords coming here and saying, this is the Tower in reverse. No, I'm sorry, that's the Ten of Swords. It looks like a tower. It's not. It's the Ten of Swords in reverse. This is a regeneration of a relationship. So if this person coming back in is the Page of Cups, you've got a regeneration of a relationship coming in. It's making a comeback. It's reconciling, or it's moving on to be the new person, right? So, but this is promising that is what we're dealing with. And the Nine of Wands in the upright position is basically giving you, this is a test of faith for you. It is going to take courage. It's going to take persistence, because a lot of old programming is going to want to kick in. You might want to run. You might want to put up those boundaries with this new person, or even the original person, because yeah, I've been there before and done that. But this is going to take a real test of faith and courage and boundaries to protect your own, I want to say, your right to happiness. You need to protect your right to happiness. You deserve to be happy. You've been through a lot to get to where we are right now. So we've got, oh, I love this, the Nine of Cups, which is emotional fulfillment. This is such good energy. This is happy. This is satisfied. And you know, who doesn't want to sit around a table outside with friends and maybe a cocktail, or you know, sparkling water, whatever you like, and feel the wishes coming true, your dreams coming true. And if that's not enough, we get the Two of Cups. Are you kidding me? I'm like, companionship, a new partner. And that can be a revised partner coming in new, like they've done their work and they're in a new space. This is being in agreement and in sync. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes, and more yes. Now, there is the energy of the Hermit in reverse that is present here. And that is sometimes being a little bit paralyzed by fear. That's what I mean by the 14-year-old that I'm experiencing. Sometimes I just get shut down with fear, like, oh my gosh, I can't express. I can't go there. And you know what? There is this little bug that is driving me absolutely crazy, but I'm not gonna be paralyzed by fear. but there's this is the work that we've got. This is what's gonna take courage with the Nine of Wands, right? This is the courage that we've got to face, which is well, the Hermit in reverse is about being a little self-absorbed. And yeah, when you're being returned to a place where you're like, oh my gosh, this feels like old stuff, you're gonna have moments of that. But the moon in reverse is calling you to release your fear and anxiety. This is about returning to hearing and trusting your own self intuition. This is unveiling the truth for you. And we got the Strength card. I love this picture. I love that beautiful, beautiful lioness that is sitting next to the woman, and the strength that represents in this strength is an invisible force. It is about our personal power. It is about our wisdom. It is about having the confidence. There's another courage. We've got another courage. So the Nine of Wands and the Strength card are here to provide the assurance that we have that strength. And we also got the Two of Coins. So the Two of Coins is about adaptability. It's about juggling. It's about, you know, like being in the real, I want to say, thrust of a relationship, and being able to juggle like your personal own needs with the needs of another. And it's also about prioritizing. It's a balancing act. That's what the card is saying at the very top. It's a balancing act. So I feel that there's going to be a real importance in this connection, to remember yourself, to remember your, I was going to say, this is the King of Sword energy coming in here, which is mind over matter. I don't want to say mind over matter. I want to say mind, heart over matter, in that this is where we need to remain rational. We need to remember what keeps us in alignment with relationship that is not codependent, that is not unhealthy, that brings the joy and the love and all of the partnership that comes along with it. And that is to be wise, to be rational, to have that present, to not just throw caution to the wind and just whatever happens. You got to remember your own center. And we've got the Six of Wands, which is, it's a victory card, really. It's, well, and it even says that, congratulations, victory. This was worth it. All of it's worth it. This is success. It's recognition. It's victory. It is the pride of achievement of something you've worked really hard for. And we got the Hierophant in reversed, which is nonconformity, which means you're not falling in to those old patterns. You are going to live an unconventional choice by the old system standards. You're going to live an alternative lifestyle, and no, that doesn't necessarily mean coming out of the closet, those kinds of, alternative lifestyles, although it can be. This is really about thinking for yourself, challenging the status quo. And at this point, the magician comes in with the pre-manifesting, and that is, you've got to have a very clear vision of what you see and what the outcome for all of this is. And right now, that's your inception point. This is your inception point. If you're moving into this and you see this video, this is your pre-manifest. I would watch this. I would bookmark this and watch this portion of the video. You might not need the first portion, but watch the second portion about what you have coming in. Establish a clear vision of that. Thoughts become things. And who doesn't want this fairy book story, fairy tale story, storybook ending? Kind of mix this up. It looks like it's coming in quick, guys, with Eight of Wands. This is swift movement. This is swift progress, alignment, things taking off, movement, air travel too for some people. So that's really, really cool. And the Ten of Wands says, in reverse, says, lay down your burdens. Lay down your burdens. Release. Get your priorities straight. What's important to you? And I want to say, where is it? Pre-manifest. Watch this section again. I'm going to watch it a couple of times, maybe 3 or 4 times. I want to see this because this is what we need to be focused on. This is what gives us the courage. This is what gives us the bravery to stop acting like a 14-year-old, Deborah Ann. And there's probably only a couple people in the world that really knows why I'm acting like a 14-year-old. So you know what I'm talking about. But it's time to lay down the burden of that. Get our priorities straight. Let's pre-manifest what's coming. And the final card in this reading was the Six of Swords, which is moving into better times ahead. And I wanted to leave that reading there. When I saw that card come off, restoration and peace, overcoming the hardship that you've been through on this path. I want to say, combine that with, and I'm looking for it. Where is it? The Six of Swords, or Six of Wands. This victory card. That's where we have to think of. That's where we're going to. Better times ahead. It's been a rough road. It's been a really rough road. And so I hope you enjoyed this reading as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. If you find that you are having some problems or issues, or you're working through some patterns, or you need some additional assistance with healing, go to my website and check out my sessions page, because I am now offering what I call, like, to myself, these are like stellar services that are what people need right now to make the shift. And if you need an extra helping hand, I've got lots of experience. And I am working with people that are actually like transforming their situations and getting down to some of the root causes for things not coming together, which I think a lot of times we think it's on the other person. The other person, they're not showing up, but it might just be something that you need to work through. So keep me in mind as a resource. In the meantime, I'm looking forward to the next time we connect. If you like this video, do me a favor, connect with me more by liking the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. This sort of sets the universe in motion to bring you content, not just from me, but from other people that meet this particular period of time that you're in your life. So thank you so much for spending time with me. And until next time, take care. Bye.